Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing day 19 of KaffeBox's Advent Calendar, featuring the Uraga Natural Ethiopia from Drop Coffee Roasters. And there's the container right there. Alright, let's talk a little bit about Drop. So they're based out of Stockholm, Sweden, and they've been around since 2009. I do have a bit of familiarity with them because they are the one coffee roaster I've seen the most in the United States. You know, Dayglow out in Los Angeles carries them, and the Sound and Fog in West Seattle from time to time will have them on hand. I've seen them at a couple of other coffee shops in the United States, so they appear to me to be the one Swedish coffee roaster that has made themselves most readily available and accessible in the United States. That being said, I've actually never tried their coffee before. There was no specific reason, I just felt that since they were a little easier to find than other coffee roasters, I was going to hold off and try them when I got an opportunity to, and today was my first time. It was a perfect opportunity. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the details of this coffee. They do have a brew recipe on their website, so I went with a 16.67 to 1 water to coffee ratio, my preferred ratio. That's 201 degrees Fahrenheit. They had probably between 199 and 203, so I just went with the middle. And they had a different pour method for the Chemex, so typically I like to use Onyx's method, 100 bloom and then 200 on top until you get to 700. But with this one, it was you do a bloom and then you just pour in circles and finish off with a straight pour. So a little bit different brew method. It's the brew method I actually used to use like 4, 5, 6 years ago. So it's kind of fun to note that, some coffee jargon right there. Let's go ahead and start talking about the coffee. I'm actually kind of happy to be discussing this coffee because this coffee has been a lot easier than the last couple of coffees. Pretty straightforward early on, based off the bloom, the smell, and the first sip. I could pretty much tell that this was a natural, and I could kind of assume it was a natural Ethiopia. The first thing that jumped out at me was the blueberry taste. It was very blueberry forward for me. And for a lot of people whose introduction to coffee was a natural Ethiopia that tasted like blueberries, you will always kind of remember that blueberry taste. And that's very much what I was getting at the start of this coffee. Finished off with a kind of citric acidity, and given how many kind of lime finishing coffees, it was pretty notable to me that this was probably going to be a lime finish. So I would describe it initially as blueberry and lime. Some other things that came through, there were some nice kind of tropical fruits and definitely a little bit of chocolate. But for me, the lime was probably the most forward thing I was getting. Probably because of the way it finished, pretty lasting lime finish, but the blueberry at the start was great, and with this coffee I definitely did enjoy it a little bit warmer. The warmer it was, the nicer those blueberry notes were, but as it's cooled down, you're getting a little bit more of those tropicals. And I think I might have put some of these other fruits a little higher at the end because it definitely finished off a little higher with those towards the end. Let me go ahead and put up the tasting wheel right now so you can see what I was getting. Acidity was pretty high, sweetness was pretty high, and then it definitely had a lasting finish. So those will be the first couple of things you see. Blueberry was pretty high, so very fruit high. The lime was also pretty notable. I maybe could have gone with a 5 for the lime, but I will leave it at a 4. Yeah, some nice tropicals. Chocolate was definitely there, and a lighter bodied cup of coffee, and of course it's a natural Ethiopia, so they typically tend not to be the cleanest cup. I do have to say, I probably enjoyed this coffee a little bit more than I've enjoyed a lot of the naturals in this advent calendar so far, so I think this is probably on the better end of the naturals for me on this calendar, and that's actually really good because I was really hopeful and optimistic that Drop would be one of my preferred coffee roasters in this. So who would I suggest this to? I think I do want to emphasize people that like their lime. Lime typically isn't my favorite in a cup of coffee, but this one was great. I think the finish was really nice, and people that do enjoy more fruity coffees, obviously, assuming it's a natural Ethiopia, people really need to like their fruity coffees in order to like something like this. But the lime is what I wanted to focus on. I think this is a pretty well-rounded cup of coffee, especially for being a natural Ethiopia, so I have a lot of praise for this one. I think Drop did a great job. I'll leave it at that, and if you have tried this coffee, please let me know. If you have more familiarity with me than Drop, please let me know what you think of them as a whole. If you're enjoying the content, give this video a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This right here has been a review of the Uraga Natural Ethiopia from Drop Coffee Roasters. Thank you for watching.